right, it's time now to touch base with three of our reporters who are tracking certainly what are the major stories in the news cycle today in different parts of the country. Ziyanda Ngcobo is watching the story unfold as supporters of former President Jacob Zuma marched to the state capture inquiry today to demand that Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo personally receive their memorandum of demands. She joins us now live. Ziyanda, it's going to be interesting to see just what happens after that, how the state capture inquiry responds to these protesters, especially given that they want Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo to personally come out and receive that memorandum.
Most certainly, Michelle. I mean, it's expected to be quite an interesting day, especially since, of course, the Commission's lawyers are expected to issue a summons for former President Jacob Zuma to appear at the state capture inquiry between the 16th and the 20th of November. Now, already we've seen several letters and words being exchanged between Zuma and Zondo regarding his impending appearance at the state capture inquiry. And today, Zuma supporters are going to call for Zondo to come out and personally receive their memorandum of demands, meaning they want him to stop whatever he's doing inside the hearings to receive their demands. But also, they're ultimately calling for the entire state capture inquiry to be dissolved because they believe that it has taken a biased position towards the former president. Meanwhile, they've also selectively chosen which evidence to look at and has omitted to actually pay attention to other evidence. Michelle, I can also tell you that one of the grievances that they've raised is the fact that there are some people who are willing and have pleaded with the state capture inquiry to hear their testimony, to invite them to the commission. They've mentioned Brian Molefe and Arthur Fraser as the two people who want to come to the commission, but seemingly the commission isn't interested in having them come and give their testimony. So today we're going to move from Mary Fitzgerald Square and head to the state capture premises in Braamfontein, and then the second leg will see them going to Constitution Hill to hand over a second memorandum of demands where they will actually want the Chief Justice to get a second set. I'm actually going to just try and pull in Carl Niehaus, who is here. Of course, he's dressed in his military gear. Carl, how many people are you expecting? But also, what leg do you have to stand on to call for the entire inquiry to be dissolved?
Well, we'll see exactly how many people come. Probably by about 11 o'clock or 11:30 we'll have a clear idea. I must emphasize that we have committed to abide by all the regulations of the COVID-19 lockdown, so obviously that limits our numbers. And we have arranged transport, and that transport is on its way here for the people who are coming. We are calling for the recusal of the Deputy Chief Justice, Mr. Raymond Zondo, who is the chair of the Commission. Now, you will understand that the reasons why we have called for him to be recused is because of the biased manner in which he has been behaving towards President Zuma. We must recall that just 2 weeks ago he called a press conference where he very aggressively addressed the attendance of President Zuma at the Commission. But the letter from the Commission requesting when President Zuma could attend only arrived barely 48 hours before he held that press conference.
All right, I just need to jump in there. I mean, firstly, one would say that wasn't particularly a press conference, but he was actually just using his platform at the Commission. But what happens then today if Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo doesn't personally come and receive your memorandum of demands, as you've said in your statement?
Well, let me say he was addressing the press, so it was a press conference. And you asked me another question earlier, and that is, why do we call for the whole dissolution of the Commission? Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo is the only commissioner of that commission. He's the chair. He has shown himself to be prejudiced not only in the evidence that was directly led by President Zuma, but also evidence led by others. In fact, in some instances, he even dragged the name of President Zuma into that evidence when they haven't mentioned it. So that whole prejudice and the fact that the Commission will not be able to function without its chair, in fact, that in itself will dissolve the Commission. Now we've asked...
Mr. Niehaus, unfortunately I am out of time.
Okay,
we will try to get you on a little later on, but that's Carl Niehaus. Michelle, the preparations are well underway. They are going to try to stick to COVID-19 regulations when it comes to that particular march, but I'm sure you've picked up some of the issues that have been raised by Mr. Niehaus, that they want Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo to actually recuse himself and for the entire Commission to be dissolved, and they want him to personally receive their memorandum later this morning.
Ziyanda Ngcobo, a developing story that no doubt you'll be speaking to us about throughout the day right here on Channel 405.